Ladies and gentlemen, today, we're decoding one of the most misunderstood phrases women use. I'll think about it. It sounds innocent, but it's a chess move. And if you don't know how to read it, you'll find yourself chasing, waiting, and losing. Let's break down what it really means, when it's fake, when it's real, and how you should respond. You ready? Let's do this. Jessica OS here. Welcome to the channel. Remember to always look out for the channel name Jessica OS when watching a video to be sure, right? To be absolutely sure that the content is coming from me as AI has taken over YouTube. She smiled, looked you dead in the eye, and said, "I'll think about it." Sounds polite, right? Well, wrong. That's not a maybe. It's a soft no dipped in honey and sealed with a smile. If you've ever heard that line and clung to hope, well, this video will be your wake-up call. "I'll think about it" is a soft rejection, not a decision pending. Now, let's stop pretending this means deep reflection. It's not a woman meditating about your worth. It's more like a polite, "not really, but I don't want to be mean." See, when a woman is into you, she doesn't hesitate. She doesn't need time. She doesn't weigh the pros and cons. She just says yes enthusiastically. "I'll think about it" is not indecision. It's indirect rejection masked as kindness, right? And this applies whether you're asking her to be your girlfriend or even asking her to go out with you. Yep. You invite her to dinner for late Friday night and she smiles and says, "Let me think about it." Translation: she's waiting to see if a better option pops up. If you were her first choice, why does she need time? You holding on to that phrase is like clinging onto a closed door. She's already made the decision. You just haven't accepted it yet. It's a power move disguised as politeness. This isn't about thinking. It has everything to do with control. By saying maybe, she delays the decision, keeps you emotionally invested, and positions herself as the one in charge. Now, you're chasing, you're following up, you're trying to impress her. All the while, she hasn't even decided if you're worth her time. "I'll think about it." Lets her keep her good girl image, right? While you spiral, you say, "Hey, I really like you. I want something serious." And she says, "I'll think about it." But never ever brings up the subject again. Never follows through. You're left chasing a ghost. Would you ever tell a woman you're excited about, "I'll think about it"? No? Let's just think about it for a second. No. So why are you accepting it from her? This phrase is the female version of emotional stalling. Take it from me. She dribbles the ball, keeps the clock running, but never takes the shot. And the longer she stalls, the harder you try. It's pure and classic manipulation. She's letting you down easy, but doesn't want to lose you completely. Now this one's even trickier. Sometimes "I'll think about it" isn't because she's confused. It's because she doesn't want to fully lose you, right? You're not a top choice, but you're a solid backup. So she says, "I'll think about it" to buy time. You ask her out. She declines nicely, but keeps texting you memes, liking your story, sending "hope you're well" messages, and stuff like that every other day. She's not thinking. She's actually just keeping you emotionally invested just in case. Plan A, the guy she really wants, doesn't work. You're the emotional side piece, the guy in rotation, the just-in-case guy. This isn't maybe, it's management strategy. I'm telling you, she's managing your expectations so she can keep you around while she explores someone else. Don't fall for it. If she doesn't choose you confidently, please do yourself a favor and don't wait around. She's testing how desperate you are. Now, some women use "I'll think about it" as a loyalty test. They want to know how badly does he want me? How far will he chase, right? The more pressure you apply, after she stalls, the more power you actually give away. You start texting more, calling more, trying to prove yourself, and all that fun stuff. Congratulations. You've now been demoted from the man that she was interested in to the man who's now too eager. Would you beg an employer to reconsider after they said, "Well, let's think about hiring you"? No. So why do you do it for someone who's uncertain about you? This kind of test is psychological. She wants to see if you'll abandon your standards just to win her approval. The more desperate you seem, the less attractive you'll become. And once she smells desperation, trust me, it's over. Occasionally, it is genuine, but that's rare. Let's be honest. Not every "I'll think about it" is manipulative, right? Sometimes it's processing. Sometimes she's scared. Sometimes she's just got out of something heavy and needs to breathe. I get that. But here's the key difference, right? A genuine "I'll think about it" comes with three things. R1, a clear timeline. Number 2, follow up without having to chase. And number 3, consistency in how she treats you. Now, if she says, "Can I get back to you this weekend? I just need a couple of days to think," and she actually does, that's legit. But if she vanishes, avoids the topic, plays hot and cold, posts thirst traps on IG while ignoring your text, she's not thinking, she's just stalling. You see, you deserve someone who chooses you without games. If this is making too much sense, hit that like button and subscribe, because this is the kind of real talk that men never get to hear. Unless, of course, they're watching this channel. Drop a thumbs up emoji in the comments if you've ever heard, "I'll think about it," and later realize that she already made up her mind. Well, good for you. So here's the truth. "I'll think about it" is rarely about thinking. It's about stalling, testing, or controlling. So next time you hear it, don't wait. Don't chase. Don't romanticize the maybe. Decide for yourself. Because a man who knows his worth doesn't sit on a shelf waiting for someone else to choose him. I mean, come on. I've got more for you. If you want to flip the dynamic and make her chase you instead, here's a perfect video. The 15-minute relationship hack that makes her obsessed with you. Check it out and you won't be disappointed. When someone says, "I'll think about it," it feels like a door half closed but not completely shut. You stand there frozen, hoping it will swing open again, only to realize that this phrase, soft and polite as it sounds, often hides a much deeper truth. In dating, business, or even friendships, those 5 words are rarely about actual thinking. They're about hesitation, discomfort, and the unspoken decision that's already been made. But there's power in understanding it, and even more power in not chasing after it. Human beings are wired to avoid conflict. Most people would rather delay rejection than deliver it. When a woman says, "I'll think about it," it's usually not because she needs time to analyze your offer, message, or affection. It's because she's trying to soften the landing, for herself and for you. This phrase works as a shield. It protects her from feeling guilty for saying no outright, and it gives her emotional distance. It also protects you from direct rejection, but at a cost. It keeps you stuck in uncertainty. That uncertainty is addictive. It feeds the imagination. You replay her tone, her facial expression, the pause before she said it. You interpret it as a maybe, but 90% of the time, "I'll think about it" actually means, "I've already decided, I just don't want to say it." Chasing someone who's non-committal is a self-inflicted wound. Every time you send another text, make another call, or check in, you're giving your power away. You're feeding an energy imbalance. One person acts, the other retreats. When you chase, you're trying to convince, and convincing is the opposite of attract. The moment you start persuading someone to want you, you lose the mystery, the confidence, the calm presence that made them curious in the first place. In relationships, silence can be stronger than speech. Walking away calmly after "I'll think about it" isn't bitterness. It's self-respect. You're communicating that your worth doesn't depend on her response, that confidence is magnetic. Sometimes the act of not chasing does what begging never could. It brings curiosity back. Let's decode what those words can actually mean, depending on the situation. "I don't want to hurt your feelings." She's trying to protect your ego because she senses your investment. "I'm not sure how I feel yet, but leaning toward no." There's a flicker of interest, but not enough spark to act on. "I'm keeping my options open." She doesn't want to close the door completely in case she changes her mind or something in her life shifts. "I want to stay in control." Sometimes "I'll think about it" is a power move, a way to test your reaction and see if you'll chase. No matter which one applies, the response should be the same: silence and space. Because space reveals truth. If she genuinely wanted to think about it, she'd return. If she doesn't, the silence tells you everything. The human brain craves closure. When you don't get it, you start filling in the blanks yourself. You rewrite memories, invent hope, search for signs. The more you chase, the further she drifts. Not because she's cruel, but because chasing energy feels desperate. Think of attraction like a magnet. Magnets pull together when both sides have equal polarity. If you flip one side by chasing too hard, the energy reverses. It pushes away. That's why restraint feels powerful. It preserves the polarity. When you chase, you also teach her something dangerous, that she can take her time, disappear, and you'll still be waiting. That's not love, that's training someone to undervalue you. Letting go isn't giving up, it's detty. Ding that your peace is worth more than uncertainty. Imagine responding to, I'll think about it with calm assurance. No worries. Take all the time you need. Then actually move on, mentally and emotionally. This detachment doesn't mean coldness, it means faith. Faith that what's meant for you won't need convincing. That energy draws people toward you far more than constant checking ever could. Women, consciously or not, feel this difference. They sense when a man is at peace with himself. The kind of man who doesn't beg for answers or demand clarity radiates quiet power, the same power that, ironically, makes her start thinking about you for real. Don't chase isn't about pretending not to care. It's about valuing your energy. It's about understanding that attraction flows toward confidence, not chaos. If she says, I'll think about it, and you pull back with calm assurance, you create a void. Nature hates a vacuum, and people hate emotional silence. That silence makes her wonder. Why isn't he trying harder? Did he lose interest? Did I misjudge his value? Suddenly, the roles reverse. The one who said, I'll think about it, begins to do exactly that, genuinely think. By not chasing, you create space for truth to surface. You also protect yourself from emotional exhaustion. The people meant to stay will come closer when you stand still. In dating, a man asks a woman to meet again. She replies, I'll think about it. He smiles, says, no problem, and goes back to his life. A week later, she texts him, curious. Why? Because his lack of pressure felt rare. In business, you pitch an idea and someone says, let me think about it. Instead of flooding them with follow-ups, you wait. Often, the silence positions you as confident, someone with other opportunities. That calm energy triggers respect. Even outside romance, not chasing people who can't decide is maturity. It communicates boundaries. You teach others that your time isn't an open waiting room. Detachment isn't indifference. It's emotional discipline. The art of caring deeply without clinging desperately. When someone says, I'll think about it, your ego screams for clarity, but wisdom whispers, let it go. True confidence comes from knowing that whether she chooses you or not, you remain whole. You don't chase because you don't need validation. You're already centered. The moment you master detachment, your entire aura changes. You move differently, speak slower, radiate calm. You become the kind of person who doesn't need to prove their worth. It's self-evident. That's what magnetizes people. Alan Watts once said, the more you try to control something, the less control you have. In relationships, this becomes the law of reverse effort. The harder you chase love, the faster it runs. When you relax, things fall into place. So when she says, I'll think about it, and you step back, you align with this law. You stop forcing the universe to hurry. You stop trying to fix what isn't ours to fix. In that calm, something shifts. Either she returns or you realize you deserve someone who never hesitated. Silence after uncertainty is louder than any words. It echoes strength. It communicates that your energy is sacred. If she's meant for you, she'll feel that silence. If she's not, that silence frees you faster than endless waiting. Don't underestimate how powerful a single act of non-reaction can be. When you don't chase, you shift from victim to chooser. You stop asking, will she like me? And start asking, do I even want someone who hesitates? That question changes everything. Acceptance is the highest form of confidence. It's looking reality in the eye and saying, I can handle this. When you accept her, I'll think about it as a final answer, not an invitation, you stop losing energy. You redirect that energy into growth, fitness, learning, creativity, spirituality. The best revenge is transformation, not to spite anyone, but to remind yourself that your you never depended on someone else's approval. Something magical happens when you walk away. Life reorganizes itself around your decision. People who once ignored you start noticing. New opportunities appear. The space you created by letting go becomes fertile ground for something better, and sometimes she comes back. But by then, you're different. You no longer need her to decide. You already did. You chose peace. I'll think about it often feels like rejection dressed as kindness. But rejection is not failure. It's redirection. If every closed door leads you closer to the one that opens easily, then every I'll think about it is a blessing. It's the universe protecting you from a half-hearted connection. Real love doesn't hesitate. Real opportunities don't need convincing. They choose you clearly. So when you hear hesitation, listen, not with hope, but with wisdom. Waiting drains your spirit, presence restores it. Every time your mind wanders to will she text me, bring it ba. CK. Focus on your breath, your goals, your peace. That focus is your anchor. The discipline of not chasing becomes a spiritual practice. It's how you reclaim your time, energy, and masculine balance. The world chases constantly. Attention, validation, likes, be the exception. Be still. Presence is irresistible because it's rare. When she says, I'll think about it, it's not your job to make her decide. Your only job is to decide for yourself, to choose yourself. Don't chase people who need time to recognize your worth. Don't stand in emotional limbo waiting for permission to move on. The right woman, the right friend, the right job won't make you wait for clarity. They'll match your energy, meet you halfway, and bring peace instead of confusion. So next time you hear I'll think about it, smile. You already know what it means. It means you're free to stop chasing and start living. In every maybe, there's a lesson, the difference between attachment and awareness. When you stop azing, you stop bleeding energy into uncertainty. You start living from abundance, not fear. Let those 5 words, I'll think about it, be your signal to stand tall, breathe, and walk forward with dignity. Because the truth is simple, if she really wanted to, she wouldn't have to think about it.